Hey, how's it going? Doing another final boss editing with the Fox. Gonna look over this week's amateur offerings. So yeah, we're gonna go over the log lines, pick two to read the first 10 pages of, and then depending on how those 10 pages go, we will pick the winner. Okay. That always happens. Okay. The first one, Forces Unseen. A drifter with a secret past finds friendship and love in Portland's animal liberal. Later!
Bye!
Liberation Underground, but the longer she stays, the more she puts everyone at risk. Pinchers, the 100th annual Crab Fest is right around the corner, and small town starts to experience a series of grisly murders that could be the work of a serial killer or giant crabs. That's pretty funny. La Guerra, La Guerra, a couple who together runs a powerful drug cartel, files for divorce, and files and ignites. Shouldn't that be verb agreement?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Well, It's an interesting concept. Okay, see you.
Farewell.
Farewell, Matthew.
Is it coming out to me?
I think so. You're coming to Luke's thing, right? No, whatever.
I know.
Okay. Or giant crabs. La Guerra, okay. A couple who together runs a powerful drug cartel, files for divorce, and ignites a turf war when neither party can reach an agreement as to who gets what share of the massive empire they've built. Born to Die. A career con man with terminal illness gets a last chance at survival and redemption when the CIA tap him to help locate an old associate thought to be the source of a zombie pandemic. It's like my old coworker is kicking off a zombie pandemic. That would be kind of weird. That's like, I don't know, Victor or something. Just becoming patient zero. When a recent interglobal events threaten to disrupt the idyllic life of the first Mars colony, a woman with a secret to hide. What secret? Must do all she can to prevent neighbors in her small town from taking up arms against her. Okay. Should we do
Spanish for war.
Spanish for war and lemon tree? Okay, let's do it. Yeah, I think I agree with the general log lines, though. I think someone put a comment about the secret not being great to have because it's just super vague, and I've made that mistake in my own log lines, to be frank or honest. But yeah, I do agree where reading it is like kind of a little bit more like, well, it doesn't really tell me what to expect. It just seems kind of vague. Like the only lemon tree on Mars seems kind of like vague-ish. But yeah, let's go with La Guerra. But she is curious, so the manager speaks. The manager speaks, and then she gets what she wants. She is the boss. Okay, and then also feel free to leave comments. I think it's like over on that side. If you have anything to add to the notes we're making. Okay, so close this out and start with Bink La Guerra.
Cool.
All right.
I was hoping that it actually was called Spanish for war in parentheses.
That would be awesome. First off, fix the bad grammar in your log line. Okay. Secondly, okay. P1. Verb agreement, guys. Lights, cameras, and a whole lot of action. Red carpet, downtown LA night. The red carpet is flooded with public figures from the world of sports, entertainment, and politics. I would try to be more specific. That could give you a lot clearer sense of the scene. Public figures are just super vague. Like, is it like, like you can sum that up by having like Brad Pitt and Angela Jolie and
President Obama.
Yeah. Be more specific about public figures. Vague. Prose is bigger. Reporters fight for their attention, literally. In the background, posters line the red carpet that read, Red Carpet Fashion Show Fundraiser for Fuck Hunger, presented by Isabella Seguera Vera. Stepping into the red carpet is Isabella La Reina Blanca Segura
I'm
Vera.
gonna have a fun time with this one.
I know. My
Be
awesome
prepared
Spanish
for bad Mexican accents.
excuse me, be prepared for good Mexican accents. Walking close behind them is Omar Peña, 30, Mexican, and a handful of bodyguards, all Mexican. Couple approaches one of the female reporters. Is this the turnout you were hoping for? I expected nothing less. Matias? Where's Matias? Oh, El Cerebro. Is that her husband? Oh, okay. She never does. Now, I have to ask, there are lots of speculation. There is lots of speculation. I don't know. There's a lot of... I guess the intro's okay. There's a lot of speculation that you and your husband are the heads of major drug cartel. What reporter really asked that? Let's see. Cool. Yeah, this seems a bit forward.
Yeah.
We are in the wine business. Don't drink and drive. Excuse us. To walk off. Head down to the red carpet.
Ask me a question like that.
Speaking of bad Mexican accents.
Yeah, probably worse Mexican accent.
Maybe not cause any trouble at your own fundraiser.
Pussy.
Some D-list actress bumps into Isabella. Her purse falls. So sorry. D-list, I would just be specific. Even though that may get you in trouble.
Griffin.
Kathy Griffin. So sorry, Isabella feigns a smile. Omar drives his head first into the carpet. Omar dives head first into the carpet to retrieve the purse. Thank you, Omar. You're welcome, senorita. Matias rolls his eyes. Okay, so it's like a interesting setup of conflict. But it's like really overt. And I think you guys, it sounds like you're going for comedy, so I'm like, the tone comes off as comedic. Which is good, because I think it is a comedy, right? In the log lines, yeah. So that's good. The one thing that I would just really push on is to be really specific about, I'll get the lights so people can actually see what we're saying. About these like things, like the reporter, who the D-list actress is. It's harder to have a good punchline if it's vague, because then it's harder to visualize, and especially on movies, like a lot of the comedy is visual. Matias rolls his eyes. Beautiful models own the runway. Isabella makes her way around the room, with Omar following her like a puppy. Who's Omar? Is that the bodyguard that I guess has a crush on the wife? Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Matias is seated at one of the tables. He organizes the plates, glasses, silverware, and napkins on his table. Everything has to be perfect, symmetrical. The senator approaches.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
gives us insight.
Exactly. It's very great care. Insight. ODC. ODC. Yeah, see. Oh, speaking of OCD. Matias, your wife sure knows how to work a room. Snaps out of it. Yeah, she's something. How's the campaign? Looking like a landslide victory thanks to your organization's help. That's what friends are for. Two A-list actors stand by the bar, making their drinks. Thought you hated fundraisers. Rich people asking for other rich people for money? I was blackmailed. Got a real nasty coke addiction. Me too. You wanna? Absolutely. The two disappear into a nearby bathroom. Okay, that seems kind of random. Yeah. Exactly the same, yeah. It seems like a funny comedy line, but you really want your comedy to stay close to the story. Like these two people, which if you didn't give them names, I'm gonna assume they don't have any purpose besides just just their funny comedy lines without adding to the plot. No bueno. And then obviously I'd be like the A-list.
Unless they're comic relief, which would be funny.
Yeah.
In which case it should be like Brad Pitt and.
Yeah, if it was like Brad Pitt, and that's like where specificity
Hugh
comes in,
Jackman
right?
Or something.
But then you still, especially early on with comedies, one of the things I've found is you kind of want to kick the story off quick because hopefully most of your jokes will be coming from like the situation.
Yeah.
And
if they are going to be comic relief, they have to be like in the story.
I mean, because even think about the sitcom, like Friends or whatever. Like if somebody has like a crush on somebody else, those scenes are really only funny because of like the tension and like one person's being awkward. So the sooner you set up a situation where there is that conflict, then like the quicker you can get into like the better jokes. Like they get the sense if you do stuff like this, it's like kind of like a chuckle, but like it won't be like hard hitting until you kind of really set up the goals, what's going on. Me and my handsome husband like to thank all of you for coming out tonight. Because of your charitable donations, millions of people in America and back home in Mexico will not know what it means to starve. F hunger! I think that's pretty funny. A round of applause from all. Walks off the runway. Omar approaches. One of the bodyguard whispers to me, Matias, they lock eyes. Time to go.
Middle of effing nowhere.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny, but like, I don't know. Like, you just want your... I don't know. I wouldn't personally do the middle of effing nowhere. Because like the sluglines, especially in the action, those are more a technical document, right? Like that's when this is not really like the thing. Like if it was a novel, yeah, you could do that and get away with it. But with a screenplay, you want to be a little bit more you want to bring your tone into the dialogue and the situations. So like what will be because like you're never like it's not gonna like have unless you have like an over the screen like like one of those like black screen with like a little like subtitle that says like location middle of effing nowhere.
Yeah.
It's not gonna ever get communicated. So like that's a joke that will not actually work when this gets made. So like when you're doing script reading, you look out for stuff like that, right? Because all of your jokes should be in like the visual, should be in the dialogue, should be in like sound design, like those types of elements you should be playing with to make your jokes. I would really steer clear from like the screenplay structure to do that personally. Some people are good with it, but that's just my own 2 cents into my thoughts there. Also, if you have any comments, feel free to punch them in, and we will take your notes and feedback into account. Because some people like it, and I'm actually kind of curious if you guys are watching what you think.
Well, and who's to say that they wouldn't put it on the screen? I mean, is that something you would put differently?
But then you would put that in your action, right?
Okay,
like if you want it on the screen, you have to kind of like write it. So just the fact that it's like in only the technical part of the document, which is like the slug line, and like because you can do like an overlay like middle of effing nowhere, and that would be funny. Yeah. But this is more like you're kind of playing in the technical side, which is less where you want your comedy to be. A Mexican man is tied up to a chair, naked, mouth gagged, covered in sweat, worked over by Mike Tyson. Surrounding him are members of the Vera cartel. Isabella, Matias, Omar, and bodyguards walk in, fresh from the event. One of the cartel members tosses a brick of cocaine at Matias. He gives it a taste. It's pure.
Continue.
Yeah.
There's more in the truck out back, senor.
There's more in the truck out back. Give me that. She takes it, pretends she isn't impressed. Matias approaches the tied-up Mexican, removes his gag. Who's supplying your gang with this? He hasn't said one word since we had him. Do you know who I am? That just sounds kind of like an awkward line. Nothing. Matias grabs, okay, good use of action. Matias grabs the Mexican by the throat, squeezes. Who the F is supplying your gang with this coke? Nothing. Matias backs off a little. He holds up his sleeves. Bang, bang! The Mexican takes 2 shots to the head. Blood splatters everywhere. Matias takes the brunt of it. Takes the brunt of it? What the hell are you doing? Oh. Oh, like the blood spraying. Yeah. He wasn't saying anything. This was a waste of time. How are you supposed to find out where the coke is coming from? Well, unless you're an effing gypsy, you aren't going to find out anything. A gypsy? Yes, gypsy, a mind reader. Gypsies don't read minds. How the F would you know? You're effing loco. Oh, loco? One of the 10 Spanish words you do know? I guess Matias is like some gringo. I didn't know that. Maybe it was in the description that I skimmed. Let's find out. Was it clear?
No, it says he's Mexican.
So why does he only speak 5 words?
Maybe he just doesn't like to speak Spanish with her and she's upset about it? I don't know. Yeah, that could be fair.
Also, the tone is a little bit shifty. Oh, she said Spanish. Oh, I thought she said Mexican. Clarity. Also, like the tone is a bit jumpy. Not like if I was just watching this straight, it would be kind of like light, but like it's still like right on the fence. Not like yeah, I don't know. That's all I can say. It's just an impression. Gypsies don't read minds. How that would you know? You're effing loco. Oh, loco. Like, should we go? Everyone else is like, no, we're good. Someone's trying to move in on a. Ooh, lots of dialogue. This becomes talking heads, right? P6. Beware the talking heads. You want action and movement. Because, I mean, they pretty much just shoot the guy, and they just like, what are you doing? He wasn't saying anything. This is a waste of time. How are we supposed to find out where the cocoa is coming from? Well, unless you're an effing gypsy, you won't find out anything. A gypsy? Yes, a gypsy. A mind reader. Gypsies don't read minds. How the F would you know? You're effing loco. Well, loco, everyone else is getting uncomfortable, like, looking around. Should we go? No, we're good. Someone should be trying to move in on us. No one is that stupid. You think too much. We're leaving. How about you show me a little respect? Maybe if you grew a pair of balls and stopped being afraid of some street gang. No, I got balls. Big ones. Well, we haven't... No, jeez. Also, forgive me if my memories... well, jeez. Okay, well, this is why I'm not married. Omar, this is why I'm not married. Where were you last night? Planet Fitness. Liar. You can find your own way home,
I feel
man.
like it would be fine with, like, if they would, like, at least, like, there was, like, action of, like, the other people doing stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like, nudging each other. I don't know, anything to, like, break it up a little bit and have them sort of, like...
Also, like, this escalated super quickly. And it's a comedy, so you have a little bit more breathing room. Yes, it's a comedy, but this argument...
I think to a certain extent it's, like, supposed to be like that. Like, they're just...
Like, super
They
crazy.
just don't like each other at all anymore, and they're just, like...
But, I mean, it kind of signaled that in the first scene, but not to this degree. Like, I just don't know if it was set up for, like, we hate each other, ah! Like, it was more like he would roll his eyes, and that was it. And then now he's like, you never hook up with me, ah! Like, yeah, so it's like, this argument doesn't seem to match the character. I want to trade places. Okay. Looks at the dead Mexican. Want to trade places? Mexican's body twitches. Fires a few rounds. Bang, bang, bang. The place is now an active crime scene. Yellow tape. CSU, DEA. Our dearly departed. Smella. That's a hard line to really communicate.
Yeah.
Maybe they're holding like a thing over his face. You got to express that visually. Yeah. I know, it's our street. They have a napkin. Yeah, it's just you want to be careful of stuff like that. If it's not like 100% in context, it seems kind of weird. Let's see. Is any feedback from our beloved commenters? Yeah, feel free to put comments in if you agree with what we're saying or disagree. We got Guerrero. Guerrero turns to see Special Agent Tasha Lawson, 30. Come kids snuck in here and found him. Lawson inspects the body. She smelled her share of dead ones. That's another one that's hard to communicate. Most of your action has been pretty good, so I'm not super stressed about this, but just make sure that everything in your action lines is communicable on screen. He took 5 shots, 3 in the chest, 2 in the head, traces of cocaine, ink on his arm of the Los Ebola gang. This was a Guerra cartel. We don't know that. Sure we do. They controlled the coke trade on the coast. This was their way of capping the competition. But Los Ebola is in the drug trade. So if the FBI know that like these guys are cartel, like why are they in like some like red carpet party? Because the FBI it's them, like Segura Vera. They don't even hide their names. P7. FBI know they're bad. Why are they at like red carpet? None of your crap about Los Ebola goes into that report. What do you mean? As far as everyone is concerned, this was an innocent, hardworking who's a victim of a drug war. American? Excuse me? He was an American. That's what I said. I don't think I can do that. Lawson gets uncomfortably close to Guerrero. Listen, my funding keeps getting cut. If these guys kill each other, no one gives an F. But when the innocent people start getting their heads blown off, everyone panics. It's dishonest. I don't give an S about what you had to do to get here. You crossed me and I'll deport you back to your tiny disc you came from. Comprende? It's like, it's very like stereotypical, but like it's also like really random.
Yeah. Why is she so mad?
And odd. I mean, that's something that's probably going to be a general note. Like, I think what's good is you have conflict in all these scenes. The problem is you have to earn it. You want to have a setup that merits like the level of shouting, which is tough, right? Because like if people get in like random fights over nothing, like it'll be like, well, what the heck? It doesn't seem consistent. But if you actually, really make sure that the situation merits that kind of like rage or whatever it is, like, or just like blowing up, that makes more sense. And like I said, you have a little bit more breathing room in a comedy for that. But the breathing you have there is like in stuff like Blues Brothers, where they're like, like really goofy and silly, or like Will Ferrell like freaking out over something in the Anchorman, like in like the newsroom, he like loses his mind because that's a character who's like set up to be like this really like random crazy person. These characters are set up to be pretty normal, or like at least like obviously a little bit quirky, but like not like Will Ferrell crazy. So like these reactions need to have context in the scene.
Is your profile still open? Or did you close it?
Huh?
Is the profile still open?
My
The one that we were looking at? Or did you close it?
Which profile?
This. You just checked to see.
Oh no, yeah, it just was open.
Okay.
I opened it up again.
Oh no, I just want to make sure I wasn't playing in the background.
Oh yeah, okay. Thanks. Yeah, okay, good call. Yeah, I was like, what?
Carry on.
Huh?
Okay, back to it.
So you just want to make sure that your scene is in agreement with the characters' like emotions. If I can spell. Emotions. Okay. Don't give an S about what you had to do to get here. You crossed me and I'll deport you back to your tiny desk you came from, comprende? His tats. Oh, his tats. His tats. We can't hide those. Lawson walks over and grabs a bottle of spray paint from his bag. Everybody out. Everyone sort of looks around confused.
What does the tats mean?
His like tattoos, like his gang tats.
Oh.
That like signal he's not a civilian. Yeah, you smoke. Trying to quit how hard? Pulls out a pack of smokes. Sparks a lighter and like lights the fire. Looks like they tortured him. I mean, I get the sense like I just like it seems like the FBI are like worse than like this seems really random to pretend the victim is innocent.
Yeah, I just don't. Maybe I missed a lot. Maybe we read through it fast. I don't get why they can't.
So they're like, oh well, nobody cares if it's just drug lords killing drug lords, but if it's You know, a drug lord's killing an innocent person, but then it's like, well,
and
yeah.
You're supposed to root for her.
Yeah, so you just don't, like, exactly. Because you can just hate these FBI people, and then, like,
she's yelling at everybody.
Yeah, that's actually a really good note. Who do we root for? The closest I have right now is Matthias, because he's kind of getting more mistreated by his wife, but, like, he's still a drug lord, so then I want to see something redemptive about him. Not just goofy. Hey. And to save the cat kind of emerges from, I don't know if you read Blake Schneider's book there, but you have, like, with unlikable characters, which all of these are so far, you have to have something that's like, you know, even if it's like a bad guy and he saves a cat out of a tree, that's like what kind of the joke is. It gives you somebody to root for. There's other tools. I was actually talking with you about this earlier. There's other tools you can use, like if a character gets just like really mistreated or like gets like screwed over in some way, people relate to that and they want to see him come out of it, or if they're an underdog, stuff like that. But if you're, you know, this late in the script and kind of no one is really standing out, page 10, I mean, for scripts, it's a way, like, it's like, you know, it's not like much, but it's like 10% of the way through, and, you know, you really want to get that buckled up, torture them before they kill them. That's effed up. It's quite pleased with their handiwork. Matthias is asleep on his couch, standing perfectly still in front of his Irma 60s. Again, the aroma is tantalizing. How do I know? Does he wake up? So then you want the characters to, like, you know, like he like sniffs and like lifts out of bed. Like those are the types of ways you can communicate that. But that's like another thing you really want to trim down if you're looking at a script like this. Is like you want everything to be something that I can see on screen, because then if you're producing it, now you have this extra variable of like maybe some of the jokes won't translate. Because that's really scary, because if all your jokes are happening in this, like, you know, aroma is tantalizing and hard to visualize, it increases the risk of your screenplay, just because fewer jokes will actually translate into, like, oh, that's, like, really funny, or, like, I can see how that'll play out on screen. Good morning, Irma. Buenos dias, senor. He gets up, cappuccino. You and Senor do not sleep in the same bed last night. That is not good. A husband and wife should sleep in the same bed. Thank you, Irma. Breakfast large enough to feed an entire football team is spread on the table. Seated and already enjoying himself is Omar. Nothing you should worry yourself over. But I do worry. Things have not been right in this household. Why didn't you just...
Your Mexican
Thanks,
grandmother screwing it.
I know. I've been raised well. Everybody needs a good Mexican grandma to keep them out of trouble.
Make
Slap
tortillas.
the wrists. I love tortillas. Anyways, she locks them. Why don't you just leave one of the bedrooms? Morning paper is waiting for him. I don't know. I mean, one thing to think about too is this is just underlining something we already know. We know their relationship is not good. I don't like this scene is, at least so far, that Irma interaction is not adding much. Like, we already know.
Like, I feel like the story hasn't really started yet.
Oh yeah, there's not been the big like.
I thought that it was gonna come at like the last big fight. Like, I want to divorce.
Like we're breaking up.
Yeah.
We already know the relationship with the rocks, but we don't need to know again. We'll just finish 11 and then we can decide. Gently opens it, places the parcel. I kind of like want that inciting incident to happen sooner, because I think that's where most of this comedy is going to come from. Like, the longer
it's gonna be this like these dueling like drug cartels.
Yeah.
That, like, also have a vendetta against each other, like Mr. and Mrs. Smith or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I think with Mr. and Mrs. Smith, like the opening scene was like both of them like on a case. I forget. I haven't seen that movie in ages.
Yeah, it's been a while.
But like, they got into their concept fast with comedy, just because that's where most of your jokes are coming from. So you want to get to like where the meat is quicker than average. Bursting through the kitchen is 10 Mexican their kid. Good day, Papa. Morning, kids. Hop into their chairs. Dig in. These kids, they have too much energy. It's not natural. Emma jumps up and Juliana's real tight. Okay, morning, Julia. This is good. It's more of a save the cat moment for Matthias, I mean. Because he's like the family man. You see him really care about his kid. That does function. We still know he's a drug lord, and I don't know if this will be enough to get him into likability. Sleeping on the couch helps. It's just so hard to make a drug lord relatable. You at least want to have him be really, really intriguing. Like, I think you're using some good devices, like him sleeping on the couch, him getting booted, him having like a family. But he did shoot a guy earlier. Like, that I think is going to be a really big challenge. Bringing the screenplay to like that level will be giving me a character I want to root for, because I know Matthias is closest, but he's not there yet to me. Like, I still don't really care what happens to him. I'm like, I don't like go blow something up. I don't care. So I'm probably gonna call it at page 11 here. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we'll go to the next screenplay, which is Lemon Tree, but we'll write our overall notes on this one first. So the good. Good action and dialogue, actually. The dialogue was really on point. I actually don't even think I have a single dialogue note except for... No, nothing. I don't think I had too many dialogue notes. Yeah, good action, dialogue. Smooth. Funny setup. And good comedy sense. And that's critical, right? And like, this tells me that like, once you get to the story, it'll probably be like really, really good. But I think we just have so much buildup about reiterating the stuff we already know. Like, okay, I know they're fighting. Or, they're like the random investigation, which just seemed really weird. And maybe that'll come in later, but make sure emotion agrees with context. You don't want people randomly blowing up unless there's like a really good reason. Like, maybe, she finds like a condo, or I don't know, like whatever, like when they have these emotional issues. Like, you guys really want that to tie together. That would be like a big, big recommendation. Let's see, comments. Any notes? Yeah. The other stuff I would think about is just making sure everything's visual. Sure, your jokes should be visual. Like the middle of effing nowhere, scene, slugline, funny, but uncommunicable. When this is made into a movie, everything should be movie ready. And then don't sacrifice story. And the one thing I saw there was like that interaction between the two A-list actors. And specifics. Be specific. Is less than, Jeff Bridges. That's a random A-list actor. Is he A-list? I don't know. Maybe Google will tell us. But yeah, I mean, those would be the things. Like the A-list interaction. Yeah? Anything else to add before we go to the next one?
No, just cut to the story sooner. Like we already said that. Boom.
I agree. Cut to the story. I'll put that even here. Get to the story fast. And that's the problem. I think, like, everybody's, very, very inundated with very, very well-told story. Like, you have Netflix now that's, like, doing all this data science to figure out how to get to these great concepts. Like, all this stuff. And people will jump ahead because, like, Netflix, because they know all this stuff, make very sophisticated stories because they know their audience can handle it. Because that's, like, the primary thing people do now is, like, you watch Netflix and chill. Or, whatever. So, like, your audience will usually be pretty far ahead of you. So you want to be respectful of that and trust that they'll get some of this stuff. Mm-hmm. But let's check out Lemon Tree. Any notes from our dear commenters or viewers? Anyone? Okay. Feel free to add comments in here. I think I can see them. Cool. And I can even check on Script Shadow if anybody has comments there. Let me see. Let's see. I don't know. Whatever, I'll deal with it later.
Yeah.
I trust that you guys will be upfront about your comments. Okay. So this one is Lemon Tree. Oh wait, no, it was named something different. I thought the only lemon tree on Mars. Okay. So when I submitted my screenplay, someone called me out for this. Was that they wanted the document title to agree with the screenplay title. I don't know. Like, I've been called out for that before in my writing, so maybe that's I don't know. That's just something that I've gotten called out for before, so maybe that'll help. Make the doc and the okay. Country road day. A red clay road, much like you'd find in rural Georgia. Sorry, that just kind of sounded weird. Cuts through a fine green foliage. A young boy, no more than 9, trudges down that road, his worn shoes kicking up red dust from the clay. It's a hot day. In the corner he passes a neatly carved wooden sign welcoming visitors to Elise, population LZ. Population 468 and growing. He takes a turn to head right into downtown LZ, continuous, which is full of wool-built buildings right out of the early 20th century. Young boy. There are very modern satellite dishes on each tin roof. Power lines stretch from poles in the buildings. Which is also a red clay road. There's even a cart pulled by a horse being unloaded of its bags of grain. This is an ethnically diverse group. All races are present. A boy points his feet toward the building, anachronistically marked supermarket, because it's anything but. It's the size of and built just like an old-fashioned general store. Yeah, I don't know. It's a little, I would say, a smidge overwritten. Nothing bad yet. But like anachronistically, it's good. But you want the scene itself to tell me that. If you're using adverbs to communicate a emotion that the reader should be having, like oh, that's not, like, that should be a general store, not a supermarket. Like, you want to describe the scene in such a way that I come to that conclusion, like, oh, wait, why is it labeled supermarket when it's, like, really an old-fashioned general store? The less, and that's kind of showing to telling, which is kind of another thing. Show me that it's, I don't even know how to spell that. CHRONISTACLY. Anachronistic.
You did it.
Rather than tell me. Yeah, okay. As he enters, he pulls a pocket and drops a water burlap sack. Boy shops the one of maybe half dozen aisles in the store, finds a bag of flour, flat screen HDTV with a football game playing, which the boy is very surprised to see. Is that live? The old man behind the counter, Mr. Clarence, 70, turns to his customer, his only customer. No, it's recorded. I don't know if anybody's here. I may have to get that. Do you want to keep reading? I'll be right back. There you go.
What am I doing? Okay. No, it's recorded. The boy deflates at the sound of that. What's your mother cooking? She just said get the flour. Mr. Clarence, Mr. Clarence takes the flour, rings it up on his cash register. $4.85, young Master James. You're the only one in town who's so formal, you know? James, formerly young boy, hands over a bill. It looks like American money, but then again, it really doesn't. Maybe describe it? I don't know. At my age, you've got no choice but to be old-fashioned, and since I like being a cliché as much as the next old man. When I was a boy, where I'm from, we didn't use cash. We used plastic cards we swiped through a machine. Where was that? Exotic and faraway, moody Texas. Talk about a boring conversation for a young kid. He's desperate to get out of there. That's probably another show don't tell, I would say. I don't know.
Thoughts?
Yeah.
There she is.
Hey.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. You guys want to help with our editing sesh?
We can start drinking
Yeah,
and put
let's
it on,
have
Yay.
on pause.
Okay. I put a comment.
Oh,
So don't
nice.
tell.
Oh man, it's so cleaned up in the back.
Nice.
What changed?
Should I tell
We
them
can-
we finish later?
Yep, we'll finish later.
Sorry guys, we gotta
No,
go.
sorry, we
Fine.
You sure?
Yeah.
Oh, it's all good. Yeah, we don't have. Yeah, we'll.
Seriously, we're totally fine.
We don't have very long to go. You want
We
to
don't have
finish
very
up?
long to go.
No, we only have like 7 more pages.
Okay.
You want to finish up and then?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, if you want to keep going for a sec, and then we can. Yeah, you're pretty good. All right. Let me get the table for them, and then
Okay.
I'll let you keep going for a little bit.
Okay. Let's see. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so the boring conversation of figuring a young kid who's desperate to get out of there. I would have him roll his eyes or something and look like he wants to get out of there. James pulls a wadded up cloth reusable bag out of his pocket, replete with recycle symbol, and opens it for Mr. Clarence to drop the bag of flour, in which he does. Send your mother my regard, James. Exterior Pope House. Day. Off the red clay roads of the Pope House which James runs up to eagerly, another seeming remnant of the 19th century except for the dish on its tin roof and all
Go
of the
get
niceties.
the beer.
You guys.
We're gonna go
We're
get
gonna
the
go
beer.
get alcohol.
Okay.
Oh,
Give
cool.
you guys some.
Oh god.
Sorry, we're just finishing up.
Yeah, sorry.
I think the screenplay
like-
should be here soon though.
We're crashing your place. So.
Oh
No, no worries. You guys are
Not
like,
at all. We're happy to see
You
you
guys
guys.
are awesome. Really.
Hey
I
Jeff,
was
should
just
we go out
impressed.
the garage or should we go out the
Yeah, sure. Close 4063.
All the nice
I'll bring
news.
beer pong
The
table.
modern home in the kitchen and the living room. James scoots in through the kitchen door and plops the flour on the counter.
He, like, vanished.
Flour. Ellie Pope, early 40s, pretty when her hair isn't pulled back into a practical ponytail, inspects the contents of the shopping bag. That it is. Can I watch TV until supper? Yes, but homework after supper. Understand? Verbal responses are something children must grow into. He skips. Wait. Seems like a random comment. Verbal responses are something. He skips over to the TV without a word. Yeah, I don't know about that. This seems pretty strange. I'll ask the master when he comes back. Turns the TV on to be told no signal. Please find a recording quickly. The main channel weirds me out. Why? It just says no signal. For the last 3 months. A little too eerie for my tastes. He brings up a list of recordings. I've seen all these like 50 times.
Oh yeah, we can. I'll get it. So don't worry.
You knew that when you asked to watch it. Go outside and play with your brother then. He does, leaving the TV on. She calls after him. Or if you want to be productive, you can pick some lemons off of the tree for lemonade. Then she talks to herself. It's just me fooling myself because neither of them has ever been voluntarily productive. So personally, I like the dialogue. It's punchy, it's, as Jeff would say, it's not too overwritten. I'm not an expert like him, so I'm just gonna give my vague impressions until he comes back. But yeah, I think it's good. It's good reflection of mother-son dialogue. Doesn't say too much. Let's see. Click. Going about her task, she pulls a chicken from the fridge and chops it up. She takes the pieces and flips them around in a bowl full of the flour her son just brought home, douses them in a milk bath, back through the flour, and then drops them into the hot oil she has on the stove.
Oh,
Save me!
nice.
I don't know
How's
what
it
I'm
going
doing.
so far?
I don't know.
You're good. You're being modest. To all our viewers out there, I think she's just being modest because she has very good
I'm not an
insights.
expert. I just have vague
But she knows her
insights.
stuff. Any comments?
Oh
I am Letter Google on a comment earlier, but I'm at work. Any load y'all are doing? Yeah, I hope it helps.
yeah. Yay.
Oh, hoping to get it sold in the real future. Oh, nice. I'm at work and typing fast.
Aw.
No worries, dude. Well, let me see. Yeah, I mean, we can read. We'll finish up Lemon Tree, La Guerra, and then since you're on, we can try to go a little bit further down on yours too.
I'm down.
Yeah, and then once they get back. Sorry,
This one's good so far.
the duties of playing a
Do you
host.
want to go up and do you want to read it?
Oh, I can
It's
just
just
scan.
him, yeah. I
Just
mean,
give me
it was
the The book notes.
He gets flour from the store, and like the guy mentions, oh, we used to use plastic cards. Basically, just like hinting that it's some point in the future, but it's like a simpler future.
Okay.
And then he's just
Sort of
comes
like
home
Firefly.
and yeah, a little
Okay.
bit, yeah. And he's talking to his mom. Good dialogue, not it's like pretty short. It's short dialogue.
So you guys been pretty visually oriented. Yeah. No signal. Can I watch TV until supper? Cool.
It's not like forced. I thought it was good.
Awesome. Pretty early. Okay.
So now he's
homework.
complaining about like the TV has no signal. That was the big thing.
Okay.
And she's like, oh, it's been like that for 3 months. I mean, I assume that means something.
The main channel weirds me out. Why? It just says no signal. For the last 3 months, a little too eerie for my tastes. Oh, stranded on Mars.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Ah. Nice. Show don't tell. Yeah, I agree.
There was some point where there's verbal responses or something children must grow into.
Oh, yeah.
That was kind of weird. I was like, oh, mostly good. Okay.
Yeah, sweet. You knew when you asked, okay, I've seen these all 50 times. You knew that when you asked to watch it, go outside and play with your brother then. He does, leaving the TV on. She calls after him. Or if you want to be productive, you can pick some lemons off the tree for lemonade. She talks to herself, which is just me fooling myself because neither of them have ever been voluntarily productive. Yeah. Going about her task, she pulls a chicken from the fridge, chops it up, takes the pieces, flips them around, brought home, douses in a milk bath, repeats for each piece of chicken, reads 841. I don't know, this is kind of watching paint dry. Don't make me watch paint dry. Or cooking, unless this is the Food Network. The funny thing is that Food Network actually makes cooking really interesting because 9 times out of 10 it's playing into a story. Because now they have these competitions. That's why they do the competitive element. But this is, unless I've missed something that happened earlier, but I doubt it from what the kind of catch up was. This is probably just like kind of that world building. And it's okay to do world building, but you want to make sure something is happening while you're doing it, or else it will be super boring.
Well, you kind of have been already.
Yeah, so like it had the overall plot kind of kicked off, or? No,
I did like the world building stuff. The general store, and coming home, and the TV.
No need to overdo it. We already got the message.
It's like her flipping chicken, and then flipping chicken.
Yeah. Also, then you don't overdo it if you already got the message, and then also it's easier to do if there's conflict. Because right now, once the kid leaves, the conflict disappears from the scene. And then it's just her flipping chicken.
That would be a good time to just have her look up at the time, because I feel like that's...
1841, outside the sun is pretty low, potatoes boil on another burner, she takes them off.
Yeah,
the water,
I skip the cooking stuff.
Though it's poured into a large appliance, specifically marked recycling, the water is... it seems, is a precious commodity.
That's a hard one to...
Yeah, I would not get that leap. Water is a precious commodity from her pouring it into water recycling. But you would either make it more specific, you would have like a bin labeled, don't tell me. If you can't represent that it's a precious commodity on screen, you telling me in the action dialogue will not help.
And if there's like trees and stuff growing.
I like food. I just got... That's
Keep for the food talk already.
That's true. Food is amazing.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. What up, Silent Willow? Cool man. Yeah. But that's something worth thinking about. And if you are gonna do a food, you should at least have the recipe on the side, like Paula Deen.
Yeah,
Well, pizza's coming.
Yay.
So yeah, we'll go fast just because once people come back with the beer, the review will be concluded. She screams out then, Marlon, James, the more you waste those like that, the more water you drink at supper instead of lemonade. James drops the lemon in his hand and pulls his little brother in a headlock instead.
What water they waste? The more you waste those. Waste what?
The more you waste those.
Sorry, I missed this.
Oh, sorry.
Outside, she's easier to pick a lemon off of her tree. Oh, okay. Maybe I was listening.
Yeah. Ellie leans back in the counter, looks at the clock, 18:44. 1845. She heads into the living room, grabs coffee. 1846. Doesn't ring.
This is why?
1847. Well, I think they're trying to give the sense that she's waiting for something. But I would probably rethink, so this is damn responsibility to call. So I think this is a tough one, right? It's hard to build a sense of waiting without your audience becoming impatient. Good thing to communicate. But I had to think of a different approach.
Yeah, like looking at the clock every minute.
Like,
It's
or
like
like,
as bad as being at work and looking at the clock. It's like,
yeah. I don't know how else you would communicate that. That's
you
tough.
could just do it once. Just have her look up at the clock and then and have her just once have her then look outside at the kids and look back and have only a minute pass and have her kind of sigh and look at
Yeah.
look over at the phone. I don't know, and then be and then say instead of every minute and have her during chicken. I don't know. Once should be enough, right?
Yeah, I do agree. I think we got the message at 1844, so you don't need to go 5, 6, 7. So this could be shorter and still communicate the same message. 2, I don't know if this is the best way to go about communicating that she's waiting for a call in the first place. So yeah, I can just say that again. But page 1, or this could be shorter, or you might. It's tough, though. I can see how this would be a tricky thing to balance. Pulls the coleslaw from the fridge, starts to make plates when she hears odd ringing behind her. Checks the phone to make sure that she puts it up correctly. She did. That's when she realizes the ringing is coming from the TV. She turns to it like it were a snake ready to bite her. Replacing the floating no signals a broadcast message. Please stand by. The tone ringing from the features. Worried, possibly even terrified, she rounds the sofa.
Stares at the screen.
Moments later, a woman, gray-haired and well-postured, sitting behind the desk appears. People of Mars, the war in America is over. My name is Rebecca Chandler, and I'm very pleased to be speaking.
First time as the president.
Yeah.
No, president of the United States.
Shock.
Of America.
Shocked. Oh, he takes a seat. The General of the Army of the United States, the people of America,
Of the American planes.
signed a PD in May the second.
A PD?
Treaty. Gosh, I'm going blind. Second Civil War in our nation's history has come to an end. Floating above the red planet, the American colony of Mars can clearly be seen as a small island of green surrounded by the Sea of Orange. Wispy clouds hover over the colony. Dead center amongst the green is a spot of brown and gray. The atmospheric processing plant and facilities.
How do we know that?
Up top.
Boom.
That's right. How do we know?
Is there a sign?
Yeah, the big old atmospheric. Great spot though. How do we know about the?
Like I said, we would just see a spot of brown and gray.
Yeah, and usually they say with feedback you want to be very, very specific and tactical. But one thing that I think is emerging as more of a general theme is there seems to be you're over explaining a lot, and then that's why you're doing stuff like showing and not telling. I think it's kind of like what we were talking about even the last screenplay, where it's hey, look, everyone is so inundated with visual TV movie stories that everyone is usually 10 or 12 steps ahead because they know the traditional story arcs, consciously or subconsciously, they're kind of looking for those beats. So the fact that you're taking a lot of time to explain something that people are already probably a few steps ahead on is just something worth thinking about. If you guys agree, feel free to comment, say yes, no, maybe so, whatever. Or if you're at work, that's okay too. And yeah. First, I want to know that we have not forgotten you. Okay.
Our nation provides only difficulties here on Earth. Conflict that cost us hundreds of thousands of our fellow countrymen, your great achievements were never far from our minds.
Pope House. Well, this may be the conclusion. Just because I think we're running out of time.
Unfortunately.
Yep.
Sorry, guys.
Duty calls. We gotta be good hosts as opposed to good screenwriters. So what I'll do is I'll do a quick wrap up here. Overall,
I'd like to read more. Just
yeah.
for the record.
Good, interesting concept.
Maybe we can come back to it later.
Yeah,
Like a
and
different
we can do like another
Yeah.
episode of this for sure. So feel free to follow this channel, and then when we do return and go back over like the druglord one, because it sounds like, you know, hey, if you're commenting and stuff, we'll go and dive deeper. And the second thing is, we'll be back on. So feel free to follow. Good, interesting
We'll finish it
concept. Good writing. Good style. And language. Just the improve is like, you gotta show, don't tell.
Yeah. It's a lot of like descriptions.
And trust your audience.
Which is fine, but
Get to the story. Those are the things. Like, we're still kind of in exposition land without conflict. You must have more conflict. If we're still cutting vegetables at page 10, which is like, you know, and then now we're on this announcement, which is intense as it is just an announcement. Okay, guys, gotta go. It's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. Follow the channel, and you can hear us when we tune back on. Peace.
in it.